What's up, y'all? This is Can We Be Real? And we are testing the waters today. You guys already know Madre, Pamelita.
Hello.
But we got a special guest with us today. Tell us who you is.
Hey, y'all. My name is Aundreia McClain, or Mrs. Doctor, as I like to be called.
I like that.
I didn't get the credentials, but I get to just enjoy
wear
the
it,
benefits.
girl. What you talking about?
Mrs. Dr. Aundreia McClain.
Can we be clear that the shoe doesn't fit? Because your shoes fit inside your husband's shoes.
Yeah, we literally have
They have a
double
pair
the
of
size.
shoes. They have a pair of shoes, the Crocs. She was like, watch this, and her whole shoe goes in his shoe.
My croc goes inside his croc because we're a covenant marriage, and so he covers
right.
me
That's right.
and my croc.
Bring on that warfare.
I didn't think there was a way to make that spiritual, but you found a way.
Anything will preach. If the Lord created everything, then we should be able to make a message out of it all.
Amen.
Our mess to his message. That was such a fake laugh. Anyway, let's go to our mug of the day. The Birmingham News, January 2nd, 1979. Alabama beat USC, Bear Bryant National Championship. You're welcome. It's for you, Mim. It's my grandmother. Anyway, hi, you ladies. How y'all doing?
Huh.
You're not even drinking coffee, though, and I feel like we're being fake right now because
No.
that smells like tea.
It is cider.
Oh.
Cider. You know why? I've already had 4 cups of coffee today, and I wanted to change it up.
And
I
go to
love-
sleep.
I can drink a hot cup of coffee before I go to bed, and I'll still fall asleep.
Yeah.
I could chew. We
That
got to
is
get
true.
you a mic. I just want his
Producer
random
Mike.
the voice behind. I could chew coffee beans while sleeping. I'd be fine. It does not bother me at all.
You wouldn't be fine. You would be choking and not well.
She took me so literally. I love the fact that this is going to be fun. Y'all two together, this is going to be extremely interesting. Okay, random question. Just because I like to show off my kids. And, we adjusted the lights. Haven gave me a good question the other day. And it was a what would you rather, right? It was, okay. She's great at
I'm
these.
ready.
She is.
And I want to know what you think. Let me sip my cider for you real
'cause-
fast.
Yeah.
But hurry because
we love that.
I don't like the
drink
sound.
pause,
I
right?
don't
Oh,
like
you
the
know-
sound of you drinking that.
Can we do that on the button press? Just for Andrea. That's Andrea's favorite sound. Okay. If you had a superpower between reading people's minds or levitating something with your mind, what would you rather have?
Pammy, you go first.
It would be levitation. I don't even want to know what is
You can
on
turn
people's
it on and turn
mind.
it off. You don't have to always be hearing everything. You can choose.
I just think that would be so dangerous for me because I might not get over it once I read their mind. So I'll take raising the couch up so I can vacuum underneath it.
Wow. So you were like raising the couch up so you can vacuum underneath. I was thinking levitate, like I'm in the grocery store and the whole what's that thing they put the food on? The rack counter thing? It just comes up and I'm just walking down and people are like, oh my God.
You would mess with people.
Yeah,
You're cleaning and you're messing
I'm
with
not
people.
cleaning nothing. No, I'm not. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not cleaning nothing. I'm gonna mess with people. I'm gonna be lifting up cars.
That would be pretty
I don't want to
cool.
read anyone's mind because they're gonna be like, "Oh, Andrea, girl, you look so good today." Knowing good, they're like, "Oh, that dress is 2 sizes too small. What's wrong with her?"
I'm reading minds all day.
Why?
All day.
Why?
The ability to look at someone going, really? And just stare at them. And then they know that you know. And now you get to read the thoughts that come after that.
No, but you didn't clarify. You didn't say that they know that you can read their mind. You just said
After
you
it
can
out.
do
If I'm sitting there, I'd be like, hey, Chels. And she'd be like,
Did you have
stop
a
it,
Diet
stop
Coke?"
it.
I don't even need that. I have an Alexa button that I just drop in.
Can we talk about this? Oh, my God. I'm so glad
I
we're
don't
talking
know
about
what
this.
that is. This an Android thing?
No, listen here. So, oh my gosh, I'm so glad we talk about this. This is Can We Be Real? We're going to be real. Okay. So, your aunt, my great aunt through marriage, and your mother, they're both in nursing homes. So they have this thing on the phone. I probably need to start my clock. Anyway, I'm all jacked up about this. I'm glad we're talking about this. We're at a table to talk about this. It is. I'm so glad we're talking about this. Now we can drop in at any time on both of them and video call them.
No, that is so weird. What?
No. So hold up, because they can't touch anything. They can't.
Okay.
They can't see
right.
as
Okay.
well.
Right. Because they're okay.
Exactly. They've got some health issues going on. So if there anytime we want to, we can drop in. Hey, the kids can say hey.
And because of COVID, we can't go see them. We can't go see them. And they can't come out and see us.
Fast forward to our new house. Our new house is a smart house. And it came with an Alexa Dot. Now, this Alexa Dot, you could sit there and say, Alexa, play me so-and-so song. Wake me up at 6:30, whatever. But then one day we're sitting there in the house and we hear this weird ding. And I was like, what is that? And Chelsea goes, what is that? And you can hear someone breathing. And I'm sitting there going, what is the sound? And I'm tripping out. I'm like, what is this sound going on? And then we hear, this thing's in our bedroom. She's dropping in on our conversations. My mother-in-law is dropping in on the conversations I'm having with my wife in my bedroom.
You scandalous.
It's my own party line. Y'all don't even know what that is.
I've heard of it. It didn't just stop. The other day we're sitting there and we hear it and we go stand by the speaker. You gonna say something? And we're just waiting. And it's her and Lane giggling on the other side. We wanted to hear what we could hear. Listen.
So can you like turn it off though? Can you
I can press a button to turn that off.
Get out of here.
But I can listen. I'd called earlier and they didn't know it. And they're running around the house laughing hysterically. I can't tell what all's going on, but I know they're either playing chase or something. They're all running around screaming and laughing. And see, the neat thing is I can call later and say, the Holy Spirit just dropped
lies. So, okay, can I be clear? This is the same woman.
Alexa.
This is the same woman that said she would want to lift stuff up because she wouldn't want to know what people thinks. Is trying to do the same superpower.
2020 brought out
and what you say are two different things.
Needless to say, this thing's going to be leaving my bedroom.
That's cool.
No,
it really is cool.
No,
it's great technology.
No, not at all.
Now, I thought your story was going to be lame. I'm going to be honest.
I know you did. Are you surprised?
Yeah, I got a belly laugh out of that one.
Huh?
You hyped it up a lot, and so I was like, you're going to let me down.
Say this sentence slow in your head. Your mother-in-law can hear your conversations in your bedroom.
Well, you need to turn it off after Thanksgiving.
Well, I didn't know where it was.
Holiday. That dressing was awful. Don't tell Mom. You're not getting no presents or nothing.
She next time would have a whole. Since y'all loved the dressing so much, we're doing a whole meal out of it. Chris, would you like to pray?
Oh. Chris, I made spaghetti just for you.
Oh, you don't like spaghetti?
Listen.
No.
I can't. I can handle it only two ways.
George, you don't like it?
Once every 3 months, or covered in Valentina hot sauce.
Oh, whoa. Now that's some backwoods stuff.
No, it's amazing.
Have you had spaghetti?
Hold up. Have you had it?
That's caliente.
Have you ever had
Never.
it? Thank you.
And I won't.
So don't not.
Because the Lord, you know what I feel like? I feel like the Lord wouldn't be
I feel like the Lord wouldn't be pleased.
Hot sauce on spaghetti? It's Italian.
So, never mind. I'm going to leave you alone on that.
Don't you go there.
So the only way I can eat it is if I have like a whole side of garlic bread next to me. And I eat more garlic bread than I do spaghetti.
Yes.
I feel you on that.
I relate to that.
You guys are so odd.
I'm watching. I promise I see a car that's pulling up in the parking lot. So
Lord, please let it be Terrence with McDonald's.
is he coming back?
Yeah, he was with Jordan.
Okay. Sorry, live stream. I'm just making sure that we're good. Anyway, so.
Hey, I'm ready. I'm going to protect you, Pastor.
See, I appreciate you.
I'm going to be out there. Don't touch my pastor on my way out.
See, I need that kind of vibe in my life at all time. On my way out. Do you hear what she said? She said she wasn't going to protect me. She's driving. Leave him alone.
But if I can levitate stuff,
Alexa, can you protect him?
Alexa, call 911, girl. It's got to be real rough.
I can't with you guys right now. Oh, I love you. So, question. With everything going on in our world right now, everything, hardest thing for you to handle right now? It could be COVID, it could be politics, it could be Facebook, it could be weather, it could be anything going on. Hardest thing that you're dealing with right now?
The variability. Like, I think I'm pretty agile as a person, but when everything in life is always like something's changing from one second to the next, I've learned that I'm not the best with that. Like, I've had to really lean into, okay, it's going to be okay. So I'm looking for like a constant, here and there, and I'm not always finding it. And that's a struggle. Wow. So I don't know. That's hard for me.
That's got to be hard. Mm-hmm. What about you, Aundreia?
I think you hit on it earlier. I have not seen my mother in person since March, and I haven't seen my aunt in person since June when she contracted COVID. And it's strange to be at this season of their lives and nobody can put their arms around them. No physical touch. And I've never been separated from them for any amount of time ever in 63 years. And so that's been the hardest, to lose that human contact with the people who are closest to you.
I get that. Mine's been an annoyance. I'm annoyed with the amount of lack of information people that talk very loud about various topics right now. Seems like sometimes the loudest people right now don't know really what they think that they know. Talking about politics, talking about COVID, talking about people, talking about anything, right? Mm-hmm. And it just seems like a lot of people are just enjoy being the different opinion and want to be really, really loud, right? Instead of saying, hey, man, let's find somewhere we can agree, and then let's build upon that. And I think there's just such a loud, but I guess it comes with it. There's such a loud microphone for division right now. Mm-hmm. They're talking super loud. And it's like, why though? Like, tell me, if there's a purpose, are you trying to bring awareness to bring people? And it seems like a lot of times people just want to stir the pot. Mm-hmm. And you've always had those people, but they just seem like they're talking super loud right now. And we're giving them more attention than anybody else right now at all. What, Aundreia, from your age demographic, from your work from your area, what are some of the struggles of people in your area of life and your demographic that are bothering them right now?
I would say that there's just so much information. And I mean, we are been in the information age for a long time now, but there's so much information and people are looking for answers. And I think kind of to what you shared, I can find an answer, but it may or may not be correct. And so, like, not even being able to know whether, for instance, with COVID, right? So I work in healthcare, and I've been able to see a lot of friends that now seem like they might have worked in healthcare too. They're sharing a lot of things that are like really off the wall, or even vice versa in politics. And so I think it's just that there's so much information that I don't know what to focus on. And so for me and a lot of folks that I've talked to, it's more of a, okay, well, I'm tapping out. I'm not gonna, like, just within, media, I've got to cut it off or whatever else. And so I think that's been a real struggle. And I think about, like, back to the Great Depression, where there were a lot of things circling around, but we had newspapers, but there wasn't, like, social media or, like, a constant outlet of news, where on your phone now there's an app that shares all the news and things like that, to where you were always inundated. So I think that's something that I've heard a lot of folks struggle with, and I know I am as well.
What about you, Aundreia? Your demographic, your age group, your work field, some of the struggles.
I think it's what I shared with you on Sunday. There's such a lack of trust on all levels. You don't trust your politicians anymore. You don't trust your doctor. You don't trust scientists. You don't trust, there's just it's so far reaching of who you don't trust anymore. You don't know who to believe. You're hearing so many voices, And I think it just bleeds over into so many areas of our lives. And I don't know that I've ever been to this place before. I mean, you have some distrust in your life with different situations, but when it's on so many fronts, I think that's probably what people my age are struggling with the most. And many of them have mentioned to me to get to this point in life and to have never seen anything like this before.
Yeah.
You know, like my grandparents, now they saw some things, but they're not here anymore. But this generation that followed them, to see something on such an enormous level, so many different levels, many of them say to me, I don't even understand the world I live in anymore.
Wow. It reminds me of the book that we just got done studying, The Way of the Shepherd. And it says sheep, if they don't feel it safe and they don't feel like they can trust what's going on, they don't rest. And it causes health issues. And I feel like a lot of times that's what happens. You know, I'm taking like a break from social media for a little bit right now. And it's amazing on, you know, you'll see, like, oh, man, what are they fighting about? What's this issue about? What's going on? And the problem is you'll have people say, well, you've got to stay informed. Well, there's also a wisdom of how much you're staying informed. You know, there's a wisdom that, like, when I first started doing stocks, I was checking it every 30 minutes. Just checking, what's it doing? What's it doing? What's it doing? Because I was excited. But the problem was I never got to rest. And I was nervous of what's going to happen. Am I losing money? Am I gaining money? Am I doing this? And it's like, oh my gosh, and it got addictive. You begin to really get addicted into it, and and I think social media is the same way. We love to know, right? Like, so do you know, it was funny, you said something earlier about it. Do you know what a party line is?
What? Yeah, okay, it was like you call the phone company to be like, connect me to Sister Susie, and then, but you can hear all the conversations. That was kind of like what it was.
It was in the old days, everybody's phone was hooked together in a certain area. So neighbor A had one long ring and one short. Neighbor B had two long rings. And when you would hear that, or however many were on your party line, you didn't pick up the phone because you knew two longs was not your ring, or two longs and a short. But all the little old ladies would pick up the phone and get on and listen to private conversations, whoever they were talking to. That was the party line.
Well, people are doing that now. They're grabbing popcorn in the comment section of a
I
post.
would say we don't have to pick up the phone. We're just watching for them.
They're just watching. Yeah. You know, and I'll be honest, there's been times I like to go in and just watch just people argue. And it's like, man, what are you going to say next? Oh, he went there. Oh, my gosh, Chels.
yeah. Did you see what so-and-so posted?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's an interesting place for us to be in a church. You know, we've grown and been around church almost all of our lives. Would you have ever dreamed a day where we're having to operate like we are operating right now as a church?
No.
Never.
I can't even think of a frame of reference, even the closest.
There isn't. This is a whole paradigm shift in the way that I think we even, now that we view ministry, you said it earlier, Pammy, where now COVID kind of is in the back of our head at every turn. And so I think that that's going to be, I don't know. I don't know. Where
but
we
yet
go from
we've
here?
talked about it, you know, and even in the old days, when y'all know what was said when I was a little kid, the pastors would talk about if the communists ever took over and we couldn't meet and we couldn't have church. That was back in that day of the Cold War, you know, what would happen. But we've talked about it. You know, you've preached about it. Well, what if we couldn't have church as usual? Yeah. But really, you can't prepare for it, even though you try to.
I mean, all the time. I mean, we were always like, hey, you know, are you ready? Are you ready? And then all of a sudden it happened, and everybody was like, oh, wait, hold up. I wasn't ready. I don't think there's no way to be ready.
We didn't know what it would look like. You know, we could make some educated guesses, but we didn't know it would come in the form of a virus.
Yeah.
We thought it might come in the form of an enemy, a warfare, you know, something like that, but not in the form of something we couldn't see.
Right. Next question. I want to see what we can go with this. With everything going on, we'll just say with race relations in the country, what has been the hardest thing for you to deal with in that whole conversation? What would you say?
I think just hearing some friends or people that I love have ideas or express viewpoints that aren't maybe consistent with who I've known them to be to me, and having to reconcile that, and also having to love them through their humanity, because, you know, you may have a perspective that I don't have or vice versa, and having to say, it's okay if you think differently than me, but how do we work through that? I think so. The hard part is now what? Because now I know that you think this way, or you know, whatever else, and so it's kind of that, you know, you don't want to read somebody's mind where it's like, well, I can't unsee or unhear or whatever. So now what do? How do I reconcile that? If I don't reconcile that, is that okay? And there's so many opportunities for me to be okay with not reconciling, but that's not who I am in my core, I think, and who I know that, you know, God's created us to be. So I think it's hard because now we're having those hard conversations. They're on the forefront. You can't get around them, and you're having to really, I mean, challenge some things that maybe you thought, even myself as well. I remember a conversation you and I had where I shared something, and then you said, well, okay, well, tell me more about that. Why do you think this way? And I was like, oh. And I went home and I was crying, like, Lord, that was an awful thing for me to say. But that came from me, right? Yeah. So, you know, I think that it's hard just for me to start having those conversations and to be intentional and to still love.
And I think that's key, because you and I have a relationship to where we have that safety. And I think that's for me is the hardest part of knowing what to say and what not to say. You know, what can you say? And what if I say something wrong?
Yeah, what if you don't have that safety, but you want to address it?
Exactly. You know, that's why I'm very poignant, very direct. If I've got anything to say, I'm going to say it. I'm not going to skirt around the issue, because if I'm talking about something and somebody hears a snippet of it, now whether it's fair or not, that may be the only part of the conversation that they grab.
Yeah.
And I've got to be very careful, especially with the sphere of influence that I have. Right. It's not just me and my family. You know, right. I not only represent the kingdom of God, I represent my wife, I represent my kids, I represent this church, I represent the leaders, I represent y'all, I represent you, I represent you. And so those are hard lines to walk. What about you?
Yeah.
Oh, do you want me to be really real?
I don't want to be anything.
Okay, yes.
I'm going to tell y'all. I guess the hardest part for me was, and I know I'm probably going to cry, but I think in my mind sometimes I tend to see more of the positive side, and I tend to be kind of like a Pollyanna type person. And I thought that we were so much further along. I think the reality of it all set in, and I just thought from the time I was a little kid, and Christopher's heard my story about, do you know my story about first grade? Mm-mm. I grew up in a volatile home, and my parents fought a lot. And so it got in my little mind that when I went to school, that they were going to get in a fight and leave me at school, and no one would come to get me. It was just a little kid. And being an only child, you don't have a bigger brother or sister to bounce stuff off of, and they'll go, oh, that's dumb, you know, or it was just me and my thoughts. Sure. So there was, of course, racial segregation. This is the early 60s. I'm in first grade the year President Kennedy gets assassinated. And so there's a little girl. She is a fourth grader. And so a fourth grader is 9 or 10 years old. And she saw me crying. My dad would let me out at school, and she saw me just stand there and cry every morning. And one day she came by me and she said, follow me, and just kept walking. And nobody saw that she said anything to me. And so I just followed her around the edge of the school, back behind the school, and there was a little alcove for an air conditioner. And she sat down in there, and she was a little black girl. And she said, your people can't be with my people, but I'll meet you here every morning, and I'll take care of you. And so every morning she would be in there. My dad would drop me off. I would watch him drive away, and then I'd run around the school and get in her lap, and she'd sit there and sing to me the black spirituals and rock me until the bell rang. And then she would send me on, and then she would come out later. So that's what I grew up knowing. And I had always had black friends and relationships, and so I thought we had come a long way. And then I just felt like when all this started coming down, my position would to be quiet, to listen, and to love people and to learn. That's what I felt like I was supposed to know. And so it's been really hard on me. It's been hard on me to see relationships suffer and to think that somebody would think I would feel differently about them just because I'm white, not knowing my history and how important it is. I have a history with race and culture, and I don't want anybody to take that from me. That's part of who I am. Does that make sense to y'all?
Well, see, I think one of the key parts is with what you said of, it is true. We have come a long way. But you can say the phrase, we've come a long way, but we have a lot of work to do, and it be true, right? Because there has been a lot of work. Because you can't look at all the people that did civil rights marches and sit-ins and all of the protesting that they've done for years upon years and not say that their work was in vain, because there was a lot that's changed. But then you would be foolish to be able to say, well, whatever, that wasn't that long ago, so it's being able to have the conversation of we've grown, but there's still some work to do. That we've grown some stuff, but there's still a lot of change that needs to happen. It's these things, and that kind of goes back to the amount of information that what happens is if let's just say it, if I say anything where we've come a long way, I'll get yelled at by one saying, "What? Listen, there's a lot more work." Well, yeah. Sure. And if I say on the other side, "Man, we've got a lot more work." Well, listen, we've come a long way. Can I not say both? But a lot of times, what happens is there's people just yelling at each other, right? And there's no middle ground. There's no greeting. There's no talk. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think I think the challenge is that we want to be really agreeable as well. And so sometimes there's a situation where I've got to say, you know what, I see it differently, but I appreciate your perspective. And that's what it's going to be. And it may not be that you come to my side or I come to yours or whatever else. But I think it's important to also to recognize the challenge that it is for us in our politically correct society to even start to, even on this podcast, for me, a black young woman, to sit here between two, different generations and to say these things. I mean, my grandmother, it wasn't that long ago, my grandmother marched with Dr. Martin Luther King, and she got sprayed by water hoses and thrown in jail when she was young, and for the same things that we're fighting for today. So my perspective, I think, might be a little bit different in that respect. But it doesn't make it any less challenging. I think, I got the opportunity to peacefully protest this summer for the same things that she was protesting for many, many years ago. Yeah. But I think it's when we leave it at that and we don't say, okay, well, let's understand why this history is important to recognize or why it's important to have these conversations, that we start to really lose the benefit that comes from that sweet little girl that comforted you and that probably, really contributed to who you are today, right?
Absolutely.
I have to recognize the conversation even that I had with you a couple of months ago. Yeah. That changed my outlook. That was a paradigm shift. I was like, oh, shoot, I'm a little bit racist. Maybe I knew that, right? But I had to come to terms with that this wasn't an okay way to, to think. And then how does that impact the other people that are around me and even our friendship and stuff like that? So I think that it's just important for us to keep having the conversation, but not to belabor the point. But am I seeking to understand, to be understood? And then if we can't, reconcile for whatever reason, I'm not gonna keep beating you over the head with something.
And see, that's wisdom, because I've learned so much to where it is a skill to listen without your next point in mind. Mm-hmm. That's a hard skill to walk out.
Absolutely.
Because most of the time I'm reloading. I'm not listening. Mm-hmm. I'm just reloading my next point. I'm reloading this. Mm-hmm. And these are conversations because I've had them. I've been having these conversations sitting between two people, and one of them says, well, Black Lives Matter, and the other person says, well, yeah, but that organization. The other one says, well, I'm not talking about the organization. I'm talking about the phrase. Sure. And there's a video, but it's a perfect issue of what's going on, and I do not support the language, what it is. And it's this comedy video of a guy that walks up to one side of a water and goes, "Hey, F you." And the guy on the other says, "You know what? F you too." And they're just yelling at each other back and forth on the other side. And that's the whole video. And if there's ever a clearer picture that I've just seen of what's going on today, it's people standing on two sides of the water yelling, "I hate you." "Well, I hate you too." "Well, I'm right." "No, I'm right." Instead of coming together, willing to challenge the very aspect of the way you think, to build relationships, right? To look. And that's one of my favorite things to do with Terrence. Terrence and I will just talk about the different way churches are. You know, when we're like, man, at this church it's this way, and this church is this way, and this funeral it's this way. But you learn so much and you grow so much from it. Why do you think these type of conversations are important for our children?
Well, shucks. I mean, the same reason why it was important for my grandmother to teach me my history.
Yeah.
So that whenever people start going crazy, I can have a clearer perspective, I think, and understand who I am and why I'm here and what's important. I think also because you want to learn, right? Like, I think parents always say, I'm not a parent, right? But you say, like, I want my kid to be better than me, or I want them to have a better life. And it's really hard for me to do that if I'm not showing them something different. And so I also think, too, like, you're exposed to this. I was exposed to racism when I was in pre-K. People didn't like my skin. They didn't want to play with me. You know, I had black Barbies at home. They didn't want to play with the black Barbies. They wanted a white Barbie. Well, I didn't have no white Barbies. You know, like that kind of thing. And so I think, too, to also prepare them to, you know, you want to be optimistic and believe the best of people, but also when that real conversation or when that real situation hits you and somebody calls you an ugly name and they don't really know what that means, but they do anyway, then they can know, and this is the way we respond, and this is why, you know, this is who you are, and this is why this is important. But it was so important for me whenever folks were telling me who I was supposed to be, I already knew who I was.
Wow.
Like when I didn't see my history in the books, I already had a book that showed me who my people were, you know?
Cool.
And I think you can always relate that back to our identity in Christ as well, and how we operate differently. We talk different whenever we know who we are. So I think it's important for our kids, and also, like, aren't we tired of having this conversation? Yeah. You know, like, I'm over it. Yeah. So then we got to start talking and acting differently for our kids, I think.
And I think one thing that's going to be huge for it is this. You can never substitute real relationships with viral videos of people that you want to hear from.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's good.
Yes.
As a white person, you can't just go find a black person that just agrees with everything you say and then share their stuff. And as a black person, you can't just sit there and go to a white person that shares everything.
But we do that.
But we do
quite
that
frequently.
Well, you know why? Because there's none of that awkwardness of relationship in the middle.
Yeah.
There's none of the conversations like we've had. There's none of the. Go ahead.
And I think we're trying to prove something. I'm trying to prove I'm not prejudiced.
Yes.
So let me post the black preacher. You know? We feel like it's like I've got to prove to you, but my life has spoken to you. You know, I don't have to prove anything to you in this moment. My relationship with you for the last, 7 years?
Yeah.
I've lived it with you, you know, but I think a lot of people right now feel nervous about that. Well, let me show y'all. I've got some black friends.
You ain't got to prove you ain't racist,
it's
baby.
Like we're trying to prove we're not racist.
You don't have
exactly.
to. I mean, if you're going to be a racist, if we're going to be real, if you're going to be a racist, then be a racist. But, I mean, I think it's about proximity, too. Like, I can say all the things all day, but whenever I got in relationship with people that weren't my same skin color or weren't from Texas or weren't from didn't have my same views, then I began to see, like, okay, maybe they're not crazy. I still maybe don't agree or whatever else, but then I can understand them and I still love them regardless. So I think a lot of it is proximity. But yeah, if you want to be a racist, then, you know, that's your choice. Yeah. But it won't, you know, you don't have to
and that's the question will there ever be a day where we're not talking about this?
Weren't they talking about this in the Bible?
Way to go.
Yes. Okay. I'm so glad you said that.
So I don't
know. You go into it. If you know anything about Bible history, you know that when you talk about the Good Samaritan, you know that there's a reason why that story was so amazing. Is because of the differences. The woman at the well. The race issue has been going on for so long, but it's the plan of the enemy to bring division in the body, and he does it very well. And it preys on fear most of the time. It's the fear of the unknown. Yeah. It's the fear of the unknown, right? Yeah. So let me change gears on you. You ready?
I'm ready. What's that dance the kids do these days? That little gear thingy? You know, I ain't up to date
Brought
anymore.
to you by Clueless Ideas of Dancing.
I'm a regular grown up now.
I just learned the dolphin this week.
Or no. We're
You know who
not
told me
going
about
there.
that? Yo, why?
Yes. Oh, I know. Because what happens is
My
they'll
sweet
go,
friend.
and all of a sudden they're doing their little body stuff like that. And I'm like, quit.
I mean, because I'm calling 911.
You better
Yes,
quit.
you having a
You
seizure.
gonna
I
slip a
can't
disc.
save you.
You're going to slip a disc. But, you know, what's so funny about those even things like, I look at the things that my kids are exposed to, you know, the things that we talk about. I've seen that, you know, Presley had to see that not everybody around her thinks the same way she thinks.
Yeah.
And how do you reconcile that as a 12-year-old? You know, how do you deal with that? What do you see, you know? Especially when it comes to relationships, when it comes to music, when it comes to entertainment. As grown women, what is the hardest part about standing out and being different? Does there come a point to where it's just never hard? In your perspective, does it come to a point to where being different is just never difficult, or is it just gets to a point to where it's...
Teach me. Is that...
Oh, you know, that is one of the blessings of age. There's something that begins to happen in you that you become settled in yourself. And you don't have to be understood. You don't have to be heard. Some of the things that you think of when you're younger, you know, when you're younger, you're so worried about the outside and not as focused on the inside. And there's some kind of transition, I think maybe around 50, where you're thinking,
We got a long way to go, girl.
that you begin to transition more toward the inside, you know, and you just realize, you know, I was telling this girl the other day, this young girl, I said, you know what, these are bat wings, but you know what? They're just arms.
Yeah.
You know, I used to worry about that. I used to hide that, cover that up, but these arms do good things. They're flawed.
Yeah.
They're winged. You know, Houston loves to get under them and bump his head under there, and the girls did too. But they can do good things.
Yeah.
And I think that just comes with really realizing, you know, keeping the main thing, and realizing life is so much bigger than the things that we sweated when we were younger.
But I'll add this on there. Yes, but you also, we get along well because there's a lot of things you're set in, but you're always willing to change and grow.
Yeah.
yeah, I want to.
Like, you know, that you're not in fear, but if you realize something needs to change in your paradigm, you'll do it. You know?
Oh, I want to hear from you. If you've got, to me, a lack of maturity is when you are rigid in your thinking, or you become rigid in your thinking. To me, when I recognize maturity in someone is when they are willing to listen and to hear maybe a different perspective or a different doctrine. And if there's a better way to think, if you know something I don't know that you can enlighten me, well, I may agree with it. I may not, but it gives me a chance to
10 Commandments
think about it.
movie.
No, we're not going there.
I love that movie. I don't care what you think. It's good.
It's Pamela's favorite
You're
movie.
trying to become pastor's bestest buddy, Westerns and the 10 Commandment. Here she goes.
Man, you know, I had someone tell me the other day that I was old inside because I told them I wanted a farmhouse. Well, what's wrong with that?
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Thank you.
No,
good.
that's her favorite movie. She loves that, and then her favorite show is
Y'all
The
sending
Rifleman.
me mixed messages
No,
because she told me that was Pastor Lane's favorite show and she didn't like to watch it.
She
Spirit of lying has come up in this house.
Let's be real. I'm gonna have to call you out, Pastor. You empowered me to do so.
She's just
Don't
playing
you be lying on
coy.
Pammy.
She loves to argue on how many shots the rifleman took at the beginning of the show.
No, I will argue that.
Hey, I love westerns.
Okay, all right. Guilty pleasure of a show or a song or a movie that everybody's like, I hate that, but you love it. Guilty pleasure of a show, a song, or a movie or something that a lot of people like. Maybe as a woman, as a man, you know. From my perspective, I want you to think. This is on. I just want to see if you could think of something that you enjoy that everybody else just hates, but you really like it. Spaghetti. Okay, I'll start as a random one.
Okay.
I love the smell of skunk.
Oh,
You're no. Get out.
This
is no longer
I
your
only
show.
know one other person that's ever
My
said that.
dog
Awful.
killed one under my bedroom growing up.
You were stuck.
I was stuck, and I smell, and it was just so. And now it's like.
It's
so when I say
comforting.
I'm being a little eccentric. Love it. It doesn't bother me at all. It's just a regular smell. It's just like smelling. Coffee or any kind of smell. It's just a smell. It's just a smell.
That's
lot
how
of
you
people
could work
think it
with the
smells
youth
like
because
coffee.
you don't smell their armpits because you just related back to that comforting smell of the skunk.
No, fix. I can't stand stinky
Comforting.
people. No. I can't stand stinky people. No. What? There may and may not have been a chance we've thrown some kids in a shower at youth camp and said, we got bouncers at the door until you bathe yourself
Oh my
because you
God.
nasty. Because they would get Axe cans and spray themselves and think it was a shower.
Their suitcases would not be unpacked the entire week.
Whole entire week. Same
Just
outfit.
like Mama packed it on Friday.
No.
Fold
Yeah.
it up.
It's nasty. Nasty. So what's some guilty pleasures? Something you enjoy, a food, a song, or something like that not everybody likes. Something different, something out of the ordinary. What do you think?
Oh, this is hard.
I can't say any of the songs, Pastor, as the worship leader. I'm not gonna do that to you. But if anyone ever is serving in the sound ministry and they capture my phone, that's the playlist on the pre-service playlist, I may have said, please don't pull up, just look at the Sunday morning service list, from my past will creep up.
Well, I'll tell you this. If HEB didn't want you to dance while you were shopping, they don't need to play Senorita by Justin Timberlake while
Tell
you're
them.
shopping.
Oh, they be playing
Because I'm walking out like
Boys
the
to
good
Men.
stuff, like something eating up. Can I live? Like I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, ladies, and I'm like jamming. I was like, I'm a pastor of a church in this city, and I'm sitting there like, dude.
What is that HEB psychology? They
Oh.
even play the oldies
Because
too
you're going to
for
spend
us.
more money, honey.
Yeah.
Man.
I'll walk out with that basket. I need help out. Yes, please. I need
Have
help
groceries
out.
always been one little bag is like $80,000?
No,
I don't
Not
know.
in Pop's day. A loaf of bread was 25 cents.
Oh,
It reminds
no.
me of that.
We're being bamboozled. So my guilty pleasure, I think, is I love grocery shopping. I spend 2 hours
most people hate
making my
it.
grocery
You
list on
like
HEB
it?
app. Love it. It brings me joy. I find peace there, and also in the church house.
Just like Terrence, saw you that right there. She
Oh,
said,
no,
you sounded
I've
just
been
like
around it
Terrence.
too long.
Run that back, because that looks
Look,
just like
then
Terrence.
call me doctor.
Hey.
I love the grocery. I get joy out of making the list. Like, Terrence, what do you need? Goldfish? You need it? Oh no, we can't afford that. Okay,
Hold on. No, my favorite one of yours is like, what, name brand? We got to watch out with the
Oh
name brand.
no. Only name brand on the peanut butter. Choosy moms choose Jif, so only get name brand there. But I be having to save money. But I love grocery shopping. I'm in there for exactly 2 hours. I go by aisle by aisle.
2 hours.
Exactly 2 hours every time. Once a
Not
month.
checking out. Like,
No,
just
no,
walking the aisles.
Yeah, look at my list. I go, the app is wonderful.
Have you seen the new carts they just
Yes.
developed?
No.
That the moment you put something in your basket, it rings it up on your cart? And
Oh no, because I have a calculator. I have 2 phones, one with the list and the
Calm down.
calculator.
I got 2. Sorry.
Earworm.
Sorry.
My guilty pleasure:
Sorry.
grocery shopping and westerns. That's it.
People are like, that's your pastor? Sorry. I apologize.
I'm not sharing the rest. Grocery shopping and westerns. Pammy, what about you, girl?
Guilty pleasure.
Well, mine is sort of like a sin, I think. But
Oh, no.
We ain't trying to get you in trouble.
I know, but it was the only thing I could think of. As I have always loved, and I still love, to go very fast. In a car, on a bicycle, on a motorcycle. When I get to heaven, the speed of sound is going to be nothing. So it's really hard for me to just, when you're out on a road and that thing hits you, and it's weird that Christian
speed
music
demon.
will make it.
She's in worshiping. But God's not dead. He's surely.
Oh,
And then the whisper's got to come in.
man.
I love to go fast,
He's
and it's so
rolling
hard
like
for
a
me to obey the speed limit. And when I married Lane, I didn't even have insurance because I had so many tickets, and he
Pamela.
straightened my life out. I mean, if you want to get straight, marry an ex-cop, or he was a cop at the time.
Random thing. I'm sorry, we just went there. Christian song you wish will never come back, and you're ready for it. You just glad it's dead. It just kills you every time it comes up.
I am a friend of God. Whoa, I am a friend of
You
God.
just offended half the people that are watching this. I got saved to that song. What song?
You ain't God's
Come on.
friend.
Come on.
This is how I fight my battle.
Oh.
Y'all, you're going to hear the worship of your heart. I hate that song. I hate that song. The team knows I hate that song with all my heart. And what was the other one that was popular they wanted me to sing? Justin wanted us to sing it, and we sang it. Waymaker. I hate that song too.
That's a T-shirt even.
Not one of mine, baby. Both of them I hate it, but I can't be doing what I want. Why? They're played out. And you know what? I think we hear the song 75 times before I'll hear it before I say, guys, let's sing this. And then before songs trickle down to the churches, they're out for 35 years.
That's true.
Sometimes, unless you catch a hold of Elevation at Easter, everyone releases their new songs. All of the popular people and such. But I hate those songs, and I don't ever want to sing them again. But it's not about me, Pastor. It's about what the Lord's asking me to do and what our congregation needs. And that's why we sang it on Sunday.
I can't wait till the next time they sing it. They're going to be like, she
so
don't even like this song.
Selfless. You taught me.
I'm about to.
Selfless.
I'm debating. I'm just going to say it.
You should go there. You should go there.
Can we be real?
Can we be real?
It was a bop back in the day.
That's what the young folks are saying now. It was a bop.
Days of Elijah.
Oh, Pop.
I know it.
I've been asked to bring that back several times.
He's doing like this right now to blow the shofar.
I remember jamming that song.
He was going to blow it.
He was?
He picked it up.
What were you singing?
Praise the hallelujah.
He thought that would be a good shofar song.
Man, a lot of people don't even understand the shofar. They don't know. They don't
Help us understand. Because I said, why didn't you blow that horn, Pastor? I got excited. And he said, I didn't find the right time. And I didn't know. I don't know what the right time is.
He can't find the spot on the new songs. Sing Days of Elijah and watch him bust it out.
Pastor, if you're watching, it's in my back pocket.
Every hour of the day. The Lord is my strength.
With Pastor Appreciation?
Got you. Those are my
Noted. Thank you.
They need to cross my desk before we start playing. And hold up, we're gonna wait a minute.
And these are the days of Elijah.
Oh,
Is
my
that what you
gosh.
said? Is that the one? Yes. Oh, yes. It's perfect for the show.
Is there a multi-track for that?
I've grown up. No, not at all. No.
I got the chord sheets though.
He has them tattooed on
Get the
himself. He loves it. Every single minute, every hour of the day. Golly.
I love those songs.
He does, and he just gets
Probably
it.
because it's spiritual. It's
know-
about the Lord.
You know what Pastor said? They're man songs. He said men can sing these songs.
I could never march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry.
Ride in the cavalry?
Ride in the cavalry.
I ride the
I'm
calories.
in the
believe me.
Lord's
bet.
army.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I was waiting for it. You better be saying it.
Hey, okay. New set list for Sunday morning, sir. I'm going to find a multi-track.
There is not. There's maybe a sheet that you slide up on the projector screen.
I'm going to write to
show
multi-tracks.
it.
Can we please bring this back? They listen.
The
Oh
transparencies.
my gosh.
And everybody wanted to be the transparency person. You see your nails on the screen. when You pushed up the.
Yeah, no, you'd sit there and you'd put your fingers up. And
Yeah, that's me.
I grew up in the black church. We didn't have transparencies.
Oh.
So whenever I crossed over, they were talking about transparency, and I'm like,
Hold up.
what?
Everybody just knew the song.
Yeah.
No, you just knew the song.
Yeah, there was no Hillsong 75 verses at that
No.
point.
It was no. But you know what's funny is I cut my teeth on more African American worship, spiritual
You
songs.
can say
That's what I
black.
cut. Yeah,
Oh.
you know. I cut my teeth more on black worship than anything else. And
Approved.
I did. I did. It was so funny. I was so different. I'd be listening to these songs. I was like, hey, man, you ever heard of? No. Hey, man, you ever heard of? No. And I'd just be in my room just jamming.
Playing
you know
Revolution over and over again.
Lord, I have one of his songs memorized. But I'm talking about even some other stuff that came out. It was just some choirs and some old stuff. So what else? Give me something that you enjoy that not many other people enjoy. Something that's just different for you. Something you enjoy, a guilty pleasure, a song, a movie. Maybe a movie that's one of your favorites and you're afraid to admit it.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, no, I don't want to be real. Pamela, you go first.
You be real.
Oh, no.
It'll encourage me to be real.
She's like, I'm trying not to be fired from being the worship leader because it ain't a godly movie. I promise you, I can already tell.
Oh, no. 2 favorite movies I know by heart: Harlem Nights and American Gangster. I love American Gangster. It was a great movie. It was. I know all the words.
You know, one of my favorite movies all time, but man, I hate it because the language is so bad on it.
Yeah,
but
you're so holy now.
I am. I'm trying. It's one of my favorite movies growing up at all times, and it's Good Will Hunting.
What? I've never seen it.
Good Will Hunting, because it's.
Yeah.
Oh Lord,
It sounds boring. It sounds boring.
Oh no.
It sounds boring.
Y'all ruin it. Yeah, you can say all you want, at all. It's basically this guy from the Bronx, whatever, grew up in a horrible atmosphere, and he works as a janitor at a college, Harvard, I think.
Okay.
And there's this impossible math problem on the wall, and it's Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Matt Damon's sitting there sleeping, and he does the math problem as the janitor, and they're trying to figure it out. But he's just this hood dude. He's fighting people. He's going to bars, and it's really about watching a guy that's grown up being hurt begin to forgive people and build a relationship. So good. But then you have Gladiator, and Gladiator is one of the best man movies you've ever seen in your entire life.
That was so not gender appropriate. Like, what if I like Gladiator?
Man movies? Okay.
Me either, actually. It sounds boring to me.
What?
I don't like action movies very much. They make me go to sleep.
Well, it's because you like to go to the grocery store for 2 hours.
Wow.
You've never seen
Hater.
Gladiator? Where have I been? Oh, my. I've got to fix this.
Fix it.
I just saw Braveheart,
What's Braveheart?
That's a
Is
good
that where he has the blue stuff on his face?
like 4 years
Yes.
Or is that 300?
No, Braveheart Blueface.
Where he has like the...
Yes.
Stop it.
Yes.
You're hurting me right now.
I told you I like Western.
Hey, guess what? Tobey Maguire was a horrible Spider-Man.
You're right. I like Tom Holland much better.
She has no clue what we're talking about.
I do.
Tobey Maguire?
Don't talk about my friend.
Toby, back in the
Yeah.
day?
Yes.
He was a horrible Spider-Man. The newer one's the best.
I'm thinking, I don't know why he
When
was
you
horrible,
dance,
but I don't know the
going
new
down the road doing stuff like this, you should never be Spider-Man ever again.
You're a
But it
hater.
gave hope to all the nerds that
Thank
they
you.
could be Spider-Man.
You're a hater.
No, you can't. The only way to be Spider-Man is being bit by a radioactive spider. Not if you're
Okay,
doing
okay,
this
you're right. You're
down
right.
the
You're
road.
right. My bad.
The reason why everyone loves him is because he was the first one.
Yes.
He's the one that
Still
like
trash.
came down upside down and then kissed the girl.
Yes.
Still trash.
I like Tom Holland because Zendaya was in that movie and I love Zendaya.
Zendaya,
I'm gonna be her when I grow up, except for Holy or like
proud of you. She's pretty cool.
right,
All right, back in the Disney shows, what was the
bro.
show?
Shake it up.
Shake It Up. That was the show. Anyway, let me think. I was thinking about one that I have that I like that a lot of people don't like. What was it? Hold up. Old school country. I'm talking about old school country. I like old school country, but then I can't do like polka. I can't do that music.
Oh, no.
I can't do that. I can't do.
Gaither Gospel
Bluegrass.
Hour.
No, sorry.
Gaither Gospel Hour. You don't like Gaither Gospel Hour?
I can rock myself some Southern gospel.
Okay, yeah.
I can do it. Some singing.
AM.
I can
AM
do it.
Stations.
I do it. When's the last time you had somebody in your life that never mind, you're a horrible person to ask on this one. I was about to ask her when's the last time she had someone in her life that thought they could sing.
Can we be real?
Oh, that's like
Okay.
that's telling me like when's the last time that you knew someone that thought they could preach? Nope.
Pastor, I'm going to respectfully decline the request to answer that question.
You are
proud
a
of you.
wise woman.
I'm proud of you. We have those people. Okay, what do you do in your life if you have a close friend? I'm not talking about a worship leader. a close friend that can't sing, but thinks they can. Should
You don't blast them on freaking.
You tell them.
I'm not thinking about. I'm
I'ma
just thinking about.
blast it.
I'm thinking about like, what do you do about that? Or somebody that thinks they can sing, or somebody that thinks that they can cook, or somebody that thinks that they can draw good.
That thinks they can cook. That's the saddest one of all.
Tell us about it.
And they bring you their little darling favorite dish, and you just say, "Well,
In Grandma's
Shug,
dish.
bless your heart."
Oh,
This is
shucks.
so-
And then they look at you and go, "Eat some,
this is the most different.
eat some."
different.
Have you seen that little video of that little girl? I'm gonna see if I can find it. She's sitting there. She's like, and she's like really trying.
Ew.
I'm good. And she's trying.
That's,
sad.
you're so
Do you
nice,
tell
Pammy.
someone?
Oh no.
Yes.
No.
If they're gonna like if they're gonna go on American Idol, if they're gonna go and showcase it like Thanksgiving.
Oh, I'm so glad you're saying
If they're gonna showcase it, then you say like, hey, you know what? This is an acquired taste and I appreciate it, but here's my perspective.
What about all those
Help me
people?
understand.
What
Do you
about all
see
those
it
people
different?
like on American
They'll be
Idol?
in therapy the next week.
The American Idol, they have a
So I have
sign,
3
and they come out and
friends.
they didn't get a ticket, and they go, "Really?" I'm like, "You know they're horrible."
No, don't y'all let me do that. Don't y'all let me do I'd be so mad.
No.
You don't love me if you
Like, no, okay, we had that conversation. Somebody sat there, and Chelsea and I were watching, and she's like, "My dad's just told me I was a beautiful singer my whole life, and I didn't get the golden ticket." I said, "Let me
Okay,
be
Willy
clear.
Wonka, come on.
If my kids are not good at something and they want to go on live TV,
Embarrassing me.
I will have a conversation with my children. I'm not going to be the dad going, I don't know. I'd be like, I told you. She didn't listen. She wouldn't do it. Like, do you really love your friend if you allowed them to think that
You
they're bad?
don't. Wait. I
Think
don't know.
that they're bad or think that they're
Allow,
good?
allow them to think that they're good when they're really bad.
You don't love me.
Yes.
You don't love me. You don't love me. I'm over here thinking I'm good, and then I suck. I done brought my meal to the Thanksgiving, and all the in-laws are making fun of me behind my back. I don't think so. Everyone needs a Pam in their life because she can tell you that you suck, but you don't know it.
She'd be like, okay, here's my dish. What do you think? Number one, interesting.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If the first 3 words they use to describe your food are anything but delicious and good and edible, then you don't need to be making this. And the array that you put it on the plate, and you know what? The colors you used in the food still hadn't said it tastes good. Homie, she's trying to tell you something.
Listen, as a pastor's wife, you learn to just make noises like,
Yeah, you ain't lying.
I need to watch this back so I can
you don't
learn.
have to say a word.
That's why you need to have wise friends around you because I would lose a friend, crush a spirit. They would, and I need to hear this, Pamela, because I am a jerk sometimes.
Ooh, okay,
You know what my mama taught me? Y'all want to hear some old wisdom?
Share,
Tell it.
please.
She
Yes.
said, if it makes a difference 100 years from now, it's worth going there. But if it doesn't, let it ride.
so you're okay.
No, that's perspective, though.
with somebody. Okay. I saw a video, and I tell you, Terrence told me this. He goes, "You know what I love about the black church, Pastor Chris?" I said, "What is it?" He goes, "If you up there singing and you can't sing, they might just take the mic from you and say the Spirit ain't doing that right now, brother." Can you
You're
imagine?
in the wrong key.
Right? Yeah, right.
Key of C.
He said they've done that before. They'll walk up and take a mic and go, "No, hey, Spirit ain't doing that today."
That's
And I was
not
like,
the
"Can you
Lord.
imagine doing that in church?" Listen, Spirit ain't doing that today.
You would
Come
get
on
an
down.
Email.
Come on down. Nope.
Tell me.
Turn it off.
Tell me.
That's why you gotta sell, man.
Right.
Turn me off. Yeah.
I saw a T-shirt that's got this chicken on it, and she's got her head cocked like this. And I sent this to Carol because she knows me better than anybody. And it's saying, I may not look like it, but I've pecked you in the face 3 times. You don't know it.
Oh.
So sometimes I'm holding in on the inside, because I'm trying to think what it would do to them if raisins in their potato salad is going to crush them, and it's been passed down through generations.
They're not been.
You got people cussing
just
on live
work
stream right now.
around the raisins. Just pick them out and cover them with your napkin.
And other people are going, Who put raisins in the potato salad?
My family is going, who did this? So, but I appreciate your perspective, Pamela, because they're like, our generation is express yourself, speak your truth, stand in your truth. And sometimes your truth is something that cuts somebody down to, below the root.
That's
and
good.
it will kill them, and you never know the impact of your words if you're not careful. So I appreciate that. I have learned that the hard way. And I appreciate seeing a Pamela and people in my life that like you can share something that maybe you don't agree, or you have a different perspective, and it's not like turbo ugly.
She challenged me this. Always start with, do I have permission to speak into your life?
I stole that and told it to my leadership classes. And they were like, that is such a good idea. And I'm going to try that now.
I now have a visual picture of what her leadership classes are. That's such a good idea. Oh my God, that's revelation. Someone wants to talk about mothers.
Pammy, but that's wisdom, and that's why you need to have friends that are going to pour into you and tell you, like, you're a jerk, and you need to get it together, but in a nice way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I need to hear that, but sometimes I need the Pamela version.
Oh, see, we got
Have
to
you
be...
thought about... sometimes
Yeah,
if you just
have you
start it with, have you
considered?
thought about, or have you considered? I was talking to Presley last night, just one of our little talks, and I was telling her about the power of things that happen to us all of our lives. And I still remember I shared a story with her about what a teacher said to me in 2nd grade. And look, here we are. 63
You are in your 40s,
years old.
still talking about it.
We have to be real.
Here I
she said.
am.
She said.
And her words, life and death are in the power of the tongue. And as a little girl that I had no idea how she was judging me with those words. I didn't even know what she was talking about. Back then, I hardly even talked. I was just the quiet kid in class.
Yeah.
But for some reason, she didn't like me. And she told my mom that I thought that I knew more than anybody in the class. And I just sat there quiet every day because I was scared.
Yeah.
Scared to even be there. But the power of her words just followed me all the way through. And then I didn't want to go to school anymore. I didn't like school.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's what my mind goes toward. And sometimes I do want to say some stuff. Man, I could get my Irish on sometimes, but then I think, what if they never recover from what I say?
So then I would ask you this, because Lord, we're already at an hour, and I don't want to keep going too long. I totally agree with all those things. What if you have a best friend that was awesome? Hold on, can I pull up the GIF of you?
Stop it!
If I'm gonna send you that GIF, and you got to put it on there. That'd be amazing.
I didn't cough. It was just a little
so
bitty
good.
sneeze.
We were doing a live stream worship scene right in the middle of COVID, just started hitting, and Terrence sneezed on the middle of it, and she
coughed.
goes,
No, good and well, you should have held that thing in.
"That's so good."
People are gonna be emailing us.
Okay, so if you have a friend in your life that's rude and mean to people, but they're real close to you, do you tell them?
Yeah, because not only are you protecting the other people, but you're protecting them. And a lot of times, and I'm just going to say this because we're being real, people who carry a prophetic gift are rude people.
Yeah.
They just, everything's black and white to them, and if it's on their mind, it's out their
Just gonna
mouth.
say it.
So you just have to say things. I think you have to say it in a kind way, or they will destroy other people, and they can destroy themselves. They carry such a powerful gift, but you've got to know how to carry it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why 1 Corinthians 13 comes. It's such an important, if you don't have the menorah of love carrying all those 9 gifts, you can hurt people.
That's good.
So there are times you just have to say, but you still have authority over how you say it. And you can tear down or you can build up.
That's good.
Yeah.
And I'd rather build them up than tear them down.
I'm going to remind you that next time you try to choke down somebody's special food. And I'm going to say you can tear them down.
Or you can build them
Or you can
up.
build them up, or you can spit it up. What do you want to do? You want to swallow?
It might be all three.
But you ever had some food and somebody's looking at you and you just chewing on it and you're like,
The only time I drew the line was on Menudo, and it just wouldn't go down. It just kept coming back. I just couldn't. And
It's a no
everybody
for me,
thinks their
dog.
Menudo is the best. No, I clean my Menudo. I wash it. No, you've
It
never
still
had my
smell.
Menudo, and it's a Menudo issue. I just can't like
Ew,
Menudo.
George, you like no? It's like in chitlins. Don't bring it to my table. I don't like certain smells. Don't bring it. It's awful. If you have a rude friend, you need to tell them. I was the rude friend, and I was rude. I was rude because I was hurt, and it took my mom telling me I worked with the girl. I went to high school with a girl, 16. I did something. She called me the B word, and I said, okay.
oh, okay.
And then I was really ugly to her, and we ended up working together. And then she was working with my mom, and they said, if you could tell any person in the world anything, what would it be and why? And she said, I would ask Aundrea why she hates me so much. I don't know what I did to her, and that was, it was kind of like she left it at that. And so my mom said, I don't know what went on between you two, but you need to make it right. And I didn't realize, I was the ugly friend. And nobody told me, all my friends were okay with me being ugly to her. You don't like her? We don't like her. Okay, great. And no one told me, you're being really ugly, and that's not cool. And we were young still, but so I had to go to her, and I said, you know what, I'm so sorry. And this is why I didn't and she didn't remember that moment. Mm-hmm. And I was really awful to her. And now we fast forward to days like today where we have very high suicide rates and bullying and, and so I say, tell them, because your rude friend becomes a rude adult and a rude, I'm 70 years old. I've lived my life. I can be this way. Right. And all the while you're tearing people down and you're putting generational, seeds of just that awfulness there. So,
and if you don't believe that exists, go to a middle school volleyball game. And watch parents. Yeah. Watch how people talk to each other. Watch to see how people forget that they are not handing scholarships out at the end of a game.
Right.
Like middle school. That's one thing that I can tell you this. People ask me all the time why I don't coach anymore. Because parents. I got done wrong. I had some people treat me in a way that I would never treat anybody else in my entire life. And I was like, I'm done. I was like, I'm already helping a bunch of people. And it was just like, it pulled me back. I might coach in the future. But no, it was mean people. And it was just like people that treated me in a way I never would. I was like, you know what? I'm good. I didn't say that at that moment. But I was like, at the back of my head, I was like, this is it.
Yeah, I'm out.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm volunteering. I'm volunteering.
Right.
But I think it's important for us to be able to look. This even goes back to conversations you and I had of it's impossible that we're not going to offend each other. It's going to it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something out, that I don't realize the weight of it, and to be able to walk those things out. So y'all did amazing. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out.
Thank you
Thanks for having us. I have a request, Pastor.
I would love to hear it.
So Cody Diaz got me this bomb mug for my college graduation, and it says Black Girl Excellence.
Done.
And it has a little Africa on it. And when she bought that, she texted me, I was like, I really hope you like this. I went to Target and got it, and the cashier looked at her real funny because she is not a black girl. In fact, she is a white girl. And so she was buying this mug, and I thought, I was just like floored. I could just have cried. I'm like, how thoughtful that you did that, So I want to ask if you can use that mug on one of your podcasts, and you can drink from it, and I'll watch it.
I would be honored. As long as you are there to answer any comments of people saying, who does he think he is?
I got you. I got you back.
I just need you to be my Karen in the comments.
Next time I come back, I'm going to be the Aundrea in the comments, honey. We believe in Black Girl Excellence, and Pastor Chris can support that and not be name called or whatever, and he's not, trying to appropriate, because it's my mug, and I'm black all day, every day. But I just thought that'd be cool because it was a great story.
I would love it. It is a great story.
Wait, okay. And you know what? I'll even drink coffee in there so you don't get upset about it.
Oh, I don't care. I drink tea from there. I don't drink coffee.
You got on to me for not drinking coffee.
Because you act like you drink coffee and then you over here acting.
This is the first time I didn't drink coffee, but now I will never not drink coffee ever again. Ever again.
I don't care what you do, brother, but just,
Brother. That was awesome. Hey, I love you guys.
Thanks
you guys
for
so
having
much.
us.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Y'all have an amazing night, amazing time, and we will see you next week.
Bye.